So during Path to Freedom, my initial start was fear. They ask you in the binder, what is the reason why you're here? What brings you to Path to Freedom? Every week you're asked that. And I noticed I just wrote fear because I had a fear of many things in life. And as the weeks go on, because it is 30 weeks, I noticed that started to change. And I noticed that in my table as well. We all started to change our reason to be there. And you start realizing there's more down deep that needs to be healed that you didn't realize. And it brings it out into the open, and you're realizing fear might be the thing you think it is, but it's got a whole bunch of attachments that root down that you need to figure out so that fear can be conquered. And I think that's the amazing part of Path to Freedom. It goes slowly but deep.
I didn't have huge expectations of what it was going to be. It was kind of a her thing, and it wasn't until later. My wife is an incredible oversharer, which I love about her. But it wasn't until later when she started sharing about it that I started to get some benefit from it. And in full disclosure, I never got to take Path to Freedom, but I got the light version of it, and it's a game changer.
Freedom comes in this course slowly but steady. It's a 30-week course. It's broken down amazingly. You start working through things at first, and then the freedom comes in to where you start to see results. You start to see, oh wow, okay, I recognize that in myself very quickly. You start to have tools in your life, and it's an amazing thing because we all have things in our life that we're not proud of or we don't like in ourselves, or we're trying to work through that we didn't understand happened in our past. And this gives you the freedom to recognize it. What's the lie here? What's the truth here? And move on. Because Satan has a very, very high power of telling you, this is the truth. This is what you feel. This is what you are in life. This is your real, and it's not. And it's like, okay, maybe this happened when I was smaller. This is something I remember. I'm going to work through this. You work through it for a couple weeks with others who are doing the exact same thing. And you get freedom from that because it doesn't have so much power and hanging over your head. And the amazing thing about that when you do it with others, like 7 other girls at our table, for me as a leader, was seeing all these people, all these wonderful ladies coming in and changing. And their face changes, the color of their face changes. It's an amazing experience. They might not see it sometimes, but you can remind them, you have changed so much. You look lighter. You just look healthier. And to see the burden coming off their shoulder and the freedom they get from that, to me, that is just priceless. It's just wonderful.
Well, this worked out differently than I expected. I guess because she was sharing, I didn't have any expectation of being involved with it at all, but somehow through the sharing and her excitement about it and how her table was kind of coming together and they were seeing surprising results in their lives, I kind of just, got sucked along with it. So it wasn't one of these things where she was seeing growth and I was just wondering what was going on and trying to ignore it and do my own thing. I kind of got drug into the whole situation, and I'm so grateful for that. And then the journey was ours. It wasn't just hers at that point.
Freedom to me is working through your past, working through your present. That's the little things in the back of your mind that we all have them. That you know, why do I do that? Why does that bother me so much? What is going on? Why can't I feel connection with God in this certain area? And Path of Freedom is that, and it goes so slow, it lets you get down to the bottom, the root of issues. As you write it out, you realize God is changing how you see things.
The one conversation I don't know if that stuck with me that I think was so profound was when she talked about Jesus being there for her. Because we've been in Southland for lots of years now, and she's struggled to hear God, and that's a heartbreaker. To know that Jesus speaks to you, and to know it's not a formula, and see the pain of that not happening for somebody else. And it's not magic. It's not magic. When Jesus does, he just shows up and he speaks to you. And he did that for her. And if nothing else happened except for that was enough. It's profound.
You start to see patterns in your life that that might be the issue here. I was the issue. It really wasn't this other person. Or you start to see things like, oh, that is a pattern that I really don't want to take forward. Or this is the reason why I do this. And now we can work on it, because you can't work on yourself if you don't really know the reason.
What if you could actually say to your wife, I think this is me. And her not say, well, of course it is. And what if she could say, you know what? I think this thing that happened to you way back when might be why you react this way. And you not immediately go to defend yourself. And I'm not saying that that happens all at once. But what if a light turned on and that happened a little bit? And that kind of thing happens in a small way in Set Free, where you see a light turn on and you're able to use that as a tool in your life that actually facilitates real change. And Path to Freedom is just like set free on drugs. I hate to say it, but it is. It's like set free on drugs. You get to do that. And it's like you gain this profound tool, like a weapon against the devil, where you can wield it against the lies that he's spoken into your life, and he's spoken into your wife's life. And again, you do it in this bubble of acceptance that we've been married 27, 28 years. We have not experienced this. Who's the person that couldn't benefit from that?
Well, our first day, I was nervous because all these women are coming and I didn't know what to expect. And after the first night, I changed and I realized we're all here for the same reason. We all here because we have a struggle that has been weighing us down for a long time. And some actually didn't have a deep struggle, but they had a deep desire to work on themselves. And that is the beauty of Path to Freedom, is you come together, you're very vulnerable, you cry, you laugh, you get very mad at times, and you just grow together. And it's amazing to see men, I see the men as well, even the women, come together and work on themselves, be vulnerable, be open, with which you wouldn't do with other people, and the other people at the table being accepting, covering you, praying for you, and helping you be accountable with that.
Having my misconceptions or preconceptions about the course and who it was for, and actually having that reiterated by people I know and other people in the church, you can't honestly stand there and say there isn't stuff in your life you know you need to deal with. Maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you haven't got to the point where you're tired of butting your head against the wall. But it's comforting to know that our church has a program that when you are tired of doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results, having the same arguments with your spouse, and ending up in the same place, and if you're honest with yourself, you know it's just happened again. To have a course that will guide you past that, where you don't have to constantly be reliving this same situation, and something about taking the power away from the devil to play that same record over and over in your life, in your relationship. It's not magic, but it's the closest thing to it. You're taking the power away from the devil to treat you like a puppet, like a marionette. And Jesus speaking directly to you. It's like you're taking the strings from the devil, and you give them to Jesus. And it's a game changer.
When you come to Path to Freedom the first time, you think, oh, I'm here for bitterness, or I'm here for, I don't even know why I'm here. I had someone say that. I don't know why I'm here. I say, well, let's just figure it out together. I'm sure God's going to show us. And he does. He does. He shows you slowly what he needs to meet you in. Because sometimes we don't know how to meet him in it because we're not sure what it is. But we know there's something. And for me, my most favorite part of Path to Freedom was around February. Only a couple people know this in our church. Around February, I had to ask God in a certain story. And every time there's a part in the week, he asks you, ask God where he was in this memory. And so I was like, well, God, here we are again. And in this specific memory, I was 9 years old. So that goes back to a long time ago, but I have been asking him that for a long time. Where were you in this memory? And I got crickets, nothing, zilp. And I would move on. And so I said, well, God, we're here again. We've come to this place 3 or 4 times during this 30 weeks. Where were you in this memory? And I got an instant answer. And it was, I was kneeling beside your bed, praying for you, and I got a picture. And I didn't know what to do with that because I have been waiting 41 years for that. And it was very clear. I will never forget that. And I just wasn't able to hear him before. And when I heard that, I was like, I emailed one person immediately besides my husband. And it was just an amazing thing that I had been waiting for a long time because at 9 years old, that is very lonely. And to know he was actually there is amazing.
You might not have all the answers, or even like Andrea said, going into it, know really why you're going there. You will not come out of the course saying that same thing. Something profound will happen to you on your way to the end of the course. Guarantee it.